UFC 321 Aspinall vs. Gane. Jacqueline Amarim vs. Mizuki Inu. I like Amarim to win this fight. Better win percentage, 4-fight win streak. He's got a couple of submissions in the mix there too, with the reach and grappling advantage. Mizuki's on a multi-year layoff. Inactivity is never a good thing. I'm going to lean Amarim to get a sub. I'm going to lean round one. Azat Maxim vs. Mitch Raposo. Zab Maxim's kinda underlooked. He's had good performances against better competition. Went to a close fight with Charles Johnson. He's fought better competition, has the speed and the size advantage. Mitch Raposo is on a multi-fight losing streak. Most of their fights have been decisions, so I'm gonna lean Azat to get this one done, but he's gonna outpoint him to a 30-27. Give me Azat Maxim, unanimous decision. Chris Barnett vs. Hamdi Abdul-Wahab. Chris Barnett, being honest, unfortunately is not in the best shape. Coming off a pretty decent layoff, and that's from a surgery as well. Abdul Wahab, he's going to have the home advantage being in Abu Dhabi. He's in slightly better shape than Chris Barnett, and he's a competent grappler. So I think he's going to be able to get Chris Barnett down. We're going to see him win a boring decision, and give me Hamdi. Maybe a robbery decision, I could see that, but give me Abdul Wahab. Jose Delgado versus Nathaniel Wood. Jose Delgado, huge size advantage here by almost half a foot, and he has the longer reach, so yeah, almost half a foot larger in every category, and he's younger, more powerful, faster, significant size advantage. And Nathaniel Wood, he's good technically, but he gets dropped often, so he's known for being a chinnier guy, and he doesn't really have the power to gain any respect back or to really answer back from the power that Delgado throws. So I'm gonna trust Delgado to actually put Nathaniel Wood down, and if he can drop him, I think he'll find a finish. So give me Jose Delgado, late round one knockout. Walter Walker versus Louis Sutherland. Walter Walker, 3-fight heel hook streak. What are his chances at getting a fourth one? Probably somewhat slim. I would imagine that for the time being, even if it is on somewhat short notice and he did switch camps, that Louis Sutherland has probably been drilling this in his training camp or whatever he had of one. He's going to be good enough to be able to get out of those positions. I'm going to say Louis Sutherland has been drilling for whatever time that he's had to prepare to be in a position where Walter Walker is attacking a leg lock. He's good enough to get out of those positions, but that there's still going to be exchanges on the ground, and we're going to see the physicality of Walter Walker take over, and then he's going to be able to find a TKO or some sort of other submission. What do I want to go with here? Give me Walter Walker round 2 TKO. Mateusz Rebecki versus Ludovic Klein. Mateusz Rebecki's taken a lot of damage in his last couple. They've been wars, and he has shown in those that he can push a high pace, and he has good cardio, and he has explosive power, but for how long can he really retain that style? I think Ludovic Klein is someone who is pretty technically sound, and he's going to be able to make Rebecki pay. If he decides to blitz in, I think Ludovic Klein can time him with an elbow or a tighter hook. I think Ludovic Klein is a more diverse striker. He showed decent takedown defense against Thiago Moises. So I think he can defend against the takedowns. I think he can take the power that comes from Rebecki. I think he's going to be able to counter him and make him pay for some of the sloppier shots. Ikram Aliskerov versus Jun Young Park. Ikram is shown to be decently well balanced in the grappling. I mean, we have seen obviously him defending some of the takedowns versus Hamzat, and he can shoot takedowns of his own when he needs to. He's got power in his hands. He's shown that. He has a couple of KOs in the UFC. Powerful, decent overall grappler. Jun Young Park, he's older. He's been KO'd before, and he's been taking more and more damage. Give me Ikram Aliskerov, round 1 KO. Nasrat Haqparast versus Quinlan Salkild. Look, Nasrat is underrated. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He's coming off a win over Esteban. And I think this is a step up for Quinlan. He hasn't beat any super highly regarded names. This is not an Ashmuz or a Jubilee. So I think Quinlan, he passes the eye test, and he might be someone who could be ranked in the future. But for right now, in this moment, I think Nasrat's the better fighter. So give me Nasrat by a competitive 29-28 decision that could arguably be scored as a robbery. Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. Alexander Rakic is massive for the division. He's one of, if not the biggest light heavyweight on the roster, so he's going to have a huge size advantage. Murzakanov, who's 5'10", a little tubby and not in the best of shape despite great power and a dominant win streak that he's on. It's just the physicality advantage, the size advantage. It's going to be a lot to overcome. And I think the experience of Rakic as well. He's fought better competition. He went through Yuri Prochazka and had lots of success. He had a decent amount of success against Ankalaev, who went on to become champion. So he has a significant size advantage. He's had better performances against better competition, whereas Azamat is a great finisher. He's shown to be, faster and powerful, but Huge step up in competition. I think this is gonna be a moment where Rakic is gonna have like a people forget man performance. I think he's gonna outpoint him in Rakic style and potentially make it boring where we could see him shoot at times. I think he's gonna win a 30-27 where he's gonna be able to poke and prod Azamat from range. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. Alexander Volkov, his grappling has somewhat improved. We saw that in the Surreal Gane fight, which he arguably won, and he is a giant for the division. 6'7", 80-inch reach. The guy's superhuman. But he has a tough test in Jailton Almeida because Jailton Almeida might just be the best grappler in the division. He's an elite grappler for heavyweight standards. We saw Aspinall was able to walk through Volkov in a round. And even if it's been a significant amount of time since that fight and Volkov has made improvements, is it going to be enough to be able to not be submitted or out-grappled by a Jailton Almeida over 3 rounds? I don't think so. I think Jailton Almeida is going to be able to, at some point, get the better of those exchanges, even if Volkov is pretty sizable and is better on the feet. But I don't know. I see Jailton Almeida being able to get him down. This is a fighter who should potentially fight for a title. He might be the only guy that can actually put Aspinall on his back and potentially submit him. If Almeida can win and Aspinall can win, this is a fight that everyone wants to see. Because Jailton Almeida could be a true test for Tom Aspinall. Jailton Almeida, people forget, that Curtis Blades loss. He did get TKO'd, but he took Curtis Blades down 9 times in a round. I believe that's a heavyweight record. So he's setting grappling records at heavyweight. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Batista. Umar Nurmagomedov has shown that he is a championship level fighter. Outside of that straight that Merab landed in the final minute, it was 2-2 headed into round 5 with Umar arguably winning the beginning of the 5th round. Umar was on his way to becoming champion, and Merab is still that guy, and Merab beat him, but we could see the rematch. So Nurmagomedov still has the potential to be a future champion, and I think he is. He has the cardio advantage. We've seen him go 5 hard rounds with Merab at a high pace. He has way better aging wins, whereas Mario Batista's wins have not aged well at all. So I think we're going to see a skill gap. I think Umar is just going to outskill Mario to a 30-27 or a 30-26 dominant decision where we're going to see him outstrike Mario from range or be able to outstrike him at range, outgrapple him when he needs to selectively. Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. The back takes, the arm bars, the constant submission threat. Virna Jandiroba is a threat on the ground. She has elite submission ability. I think she's more improved than Dern since their last fight. I think she's on a better win streak. Mackenzie Dern, she might be able to contend somewhat in the grappling. I don't think her striking is that much better. So I'm going to lean Virna Jandiroba to be able to out-grapple her over multiple rounds. I think over 5, there's going to be more moments where Virna's able to control her and potentially find submissions or threaten submissions. And Mackenzie Dern might be able to answer back in some moments, but I think over 5, Virna should be favored. So give me Virna Jandiroba 48-47 and new. Tom Aspinall versus Surreal Gane. Tom Aspinall has been grappling since he was 7 years old. He's going to have the heavy grappling advantage with immense expectations on his shoulders with the Jones beef and the Pereira fight hanging in the background. And I think that plays a significant factor because I think Tom Aspinall is going to be Tom Aspinall is going to be locked in, bro. Surreal Gane sitting on fucking 2K. Surreal Gane, he's geeked, but Tom Aspinall is locked in. And I feel like this has to be his moment. We can't allow Jon Jones to get the last laugh on the way out. That can't happen. That can't be the storybook ending that we're left with. Surreal Gane often leaves his hips square, leaves himself off balance. We even saw it in the Jones fight where he overextended and got taken down. He's light on his feet, but he's almost too light sometimes. And sometimes when he throws straights, he'll lift his back foot. And so he leaves himself off balance. His hips are too square sometimes. It leaves him open for takedowns. And I feel that we haven't seen him fully be tested against a top 3 grappler in the weight class, whether that's an Almeida or an Aspinall. We haven't seen him face a high level grappler for the division yet. He hasn't really had to defend against someone that good. He arguably got out grappled by Volkov in some moments, and we saw Aspinall run through Volkov in a round. So for you to go 3 rounds with him and arguably lose, it's just not a good look. And I know MMA math doesn't always hold up, but in this case, it seems like it should. 2 things could happen in this fight. Either we could see Gane know that he needs a KO because There's a skill difference, and we see him make the same low IQ mistake that he made in the Jones fight where he starts overextending on his shots, or he's more patient. And if he is, I think if he's too hesitant on the feet, that Aspinall is going to be able to set his feints, be able to get reactions out of him, and he's going to be able to shoot. And if he's going to be able to shoot on a more hesitant Surreal Gane, that he's going to be able to get him down early and potentially find a submission. Even if it may be a casuals man take, I think that it's reasonable to believe that Aspinall can get this done in a round. So I think however he wants. I think Aspinall either round 1 KO or round 1 submission. And if it happens to go into the second round, that it will be finished early into the second round.